What if the world's greatest hero became its biggest threat? Today we're diving into a heart-wrenching story where Superman, the beacon of hope, loses control, and the Justice League is forced to make an impossible choice. Who could possibly stop the Man of Steel? The answer might surprise you, Batman. Let's set the scene. Imagine a world where Superman, the kind, powerful protector we all know, is no longer himself. Whether it's through mind control, a magical curse, or a devastating personal tragedy that shatters his psyche and becomes an unstoppable force of destruction. Cities crumble under his power, and the very people he swore to protect now live in fear. The Justice League, his closest friends and allies, are thrown into chaos. How do you fight a friend who can move planets and outrun light? Wonder Woman, with her divine strength, could hold him back, but for how long? The Flash could try to phase through his attacks or trap him in the Speed Force, but a single mistake would be fatal. Green Lantern's ring is powerful, but his strength is limited by willpower, and Superman's sheer force could shatter any construct. Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, they all have incredible abilities, but against a rogue Superman, they're outmatched. They could try to reason with him, to break through whatever is controlling him, but every second they hesitate, more lives are at risk. The League convenes in the ruins of the Watchtower, the weight of the world on their shoulders. They debate, they argue, but they all know the terrifying truth. A direct assault is a suicide mission that would cause catastrophic collateral damage. They need a different approach. They need a plan. They need a mind that operates in the shadows, that anticipates every possibility, and that has a contingency for everything. Even for them, all eyes turn to Batman. Bruce Wayne, the only human in the room, the man with no superpowers. It seems insane, right? How could a mortal man stand against a god? But the Justice League knows something the world doesn't. Batman's greatest power isn't his wealth or his gadgets. It's his mind. He has spent years studying every member of the League, including Superman. Not out of distrust, but out of a deep sense of responsibility. He knows their strengths and, more importantly, he knows their weaknesses. Years prior, foreseeing a scenario just like this, Batman developed a series of contingency plans, codenamed Tower of Babel. These were top-secret protocols designed to neutralize any member of the Justice League should they go rogue. His plan for Superman was the most elaborate and dangerous of all. He knew a physical confrontation was a last resort. His strategy was surgical, psychological, and utterly ruthless. The League is divided. Handing Batman the authority to take down their friend feels like a betrayal. But as Superman's rampage continues, they realize they have no other choice. With a heavy heart, Wonder Woman, acting as the League's conscience, gives Bruce the go-ahead. The decision is made. Batman is their only hope. So what was Batman's plan? It wasn't about a bigger suit of armor or a more powerful weapon. It was a multi-layered strategy. The first step was to exploit Superman's physiology. Bruce had synthesized a specific type of red kryptonite. Unlike the standard green K, which just weakens and hurts him, this synthetic red kryptonite was designed to accelerate the radiation absorption in Superman ES cells to an unbearable degree. It wouldn't just weaken him. It would overload his senses, making him feel like his skin was on fire and every sound was an explosion. It was cruel, designed to incapacitate him through sheer agony. But Batman knows Superman's willpower is immense. He might fight through the pain, so phase 2 is psychological. Batman activates a global broadcast. But it's not a message of surrender. Instead, he uses advanced technology to project a deep field illusion. All around Superman, the world seems to be in peril, but it's a hyper-realistic simulation. He sees Lois Lane, his parents, and innocent people in mortal danger, but every time he tries to save them, they crumble to dust. The goal is to exhaust him, to break his spirit, to make him question his own reality and power. While Superman is disoriented and tormented, Batman deploys his final gambit. It's not a weapon but a location. He lures the weakened Superman to a replica of the Fortress of Solitude, one he secretly constructed. Inside, the air is saturated with synthetic red sun radiation, the same kind that powered his home planet of Krypton. This radiation strips Superman of his powers, rendering him as vulnerable as any human. Here, in this powerless state, the final confrontation happens, but it's not a fight. Batman is waiting for him, not in his armored suit, but as Bruce Wayne. He doesn't throw a punch. Instead, he confronts Clark Kent, the man, not Superman, the hero. He reminds him of who he is, of the good man he was raised to be in Smallville. He talks about hope, about choice, and about friendship. It's the ultimate psychological play, breaking down the god to reach the man inside. In this moment of vulnerability, with his powers gone and his mind clear of the rage or control that had gripped him, Clark collapses. The fight is over. Not with a bang, but with the quiet return of a friend. Batman saved the world not by outfighting Superman, but by outthinking the problem. He proved that it's not about having the most power, but about knowing how to use the resources you have. The aftermath is somber. The world is safe, but the Justice League is fractured. They now understand the terrifying extent of Batman's preparations. Can they ever trust him again? Was he right to prepare for their downfall? This story isn't just a cool what-if battle. It's a deep exploration of trust, responsibility, and the fine line between hero and threat. It highlights the fundamental difference between Superman and Batman. Superman represents the best we can be, an ideal to strive for. Batman represents the pragmatic, cautious part of humanity, the part that prepares for the worst, even from our best. In the end, the Justice League chose Batman because they needed a mind willing to make the hard, morally gray choices they couldn't. They needed a friend willing to become a monster to stop a friend who had become one. It's a dark and compelling chapter in their history, reminding us that sometimes the greatest battles are not fought with fists, but with wits and a heavy heart. What do you guys think? Was Batman right to have these plans? Or is it a betrayal of his friends? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into DC Comics lore, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.